Welcome again, everyone, to this episode of Three. I'm here with Tammie Roitman. She's an intuitive clinical hypnotherapist. I'm here with Kris Gray, master astrologist, and me, Mona Van Joseph. I'm your intuitive tarot consultant. And we're here to address your question live on the broadcast. And by the way, how do you be on Three? You go to www.THREE.Vegas and you go to the How to Be on Three page and you email us through that webpage, and then we will invite you to be a guest on the program. And the more specific you are with your question, the more we can help you. So when you respond to us over the THREE.Vegas website, we're going to ask you a few questions, personal questions, your birth date, your birth time, where you were born. We're going to ask for your email address. Now, none of this will be revealed publicly. But we need that because Kris Gray, the master astrologer, can tell if you're giving us the right date and time when it gets sent to you. So if you say, oh, I don't know, I was born at noon, she knows that's not true. She just knows. Okay, so just let you know. So we have a caller here live on the program, but we'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Judy Morio. I'm an artist, an author, and an art teacher. And very often I get asked, how do I price my art? Well, that's just one of the questions that I've answered in this book. This is called Turn Your Art into Cash. It's about branding and marketing your creative product. So I've gone over how you can price your art. I've also covered the various ways that you can sell your art. Anything from exhibiting in galleries and art shows to licensing to selling online. So I also included a list of 200 websites in here where you can sell your art. So if you want to sell your art, get a copy of this book today. You can get it on Amazon.com or on my website, judymorio.com.
Welcome back. We have JoEllen here live on the air with us, and she has a question. Hi, JoEllen. Welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you all? Thank you.
Nice to see you. Okay, so tell us your question. Now, this is how it's going to work, is you're going to say your question, and then you're going to choose which one of us you want to have answer the question first, and then you'll choose who answers the question second, and then by default, whoever's left over, all right?
Okay.
We usually save the best for last, so whoever you have last is probably going to be the best. Anyway, all right. Not that we're comparing ourselves because we're all so different. There's no such thing as competition. So there you go. Okay, so what is your question today?
My question is the direction of my career, my creative side of me. I like what I do. It's just I'm at that point where I need to go. What am I supposed to do next? Where am I supposed to go? And what's the key thing is what's going to bring me my greatest amount of joy. I'm really looking for joy.
Okay, great. All right. Well, who would you like to have answer the question first?
Well, the fabulous Mona Van Joseph, please.
Oh, you're so sweet. Okay, stop it some more. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, so I'm going to clear the cards for you right now. The thing that occurred to me, and I don't know if this is something that you do, but you mentioned that you're super creative. And one of the things that I wonder is that, are you somebody that can take a like a still picture or a still photograph and then animate it with AI? Are you somebody that's able to do that?
If I work really hard at it, yeah. My sister's the cartoonist.
Okay, but what I'm wondering is that it might be that you take a picture that might be created and then you animate it into a little like 30-second or 1 minute commercial or story for something. And what I keep getting is that there's something you're going to springboard from that you already have the foundation and the knowledge to do, but you're going to do it slightly different, and you're going to hit it hard very quickly. So, for example, let's say your favorite beverage on the planet is let's use one, Coca-Cola, right? It could be that you animate a Coca-Cola bottle that goes on a little adventure. And it's funny because I get this Coca-Cola bottle with a red balloon attached to it in some way. Anyway, but then you send it to Coca-Cola and Coca-Cola goes, We want to buy this commercial. And then of course, now that goes on your resume that for something that would take you maybe 8 hours to do, you might make thousands of dollars because you just created a really kick butt commercial out of it. I'm saying that there is a shift. So let me draw the cards for you and let me see what I'm getting about your career. Hold on. All right. You're there's that courage card. I was thinking on one of the other episodes, I was thinking specifically of this card called courage. Now, you have a tendency to do things the hard way, JoEllen. So the very first card on the far left is called exhaustion, but it's reversed, which means when something really interests you, you have no problem putting all the hard work into it. You become energized when you get a good idea. Then you have this card called harmony, and this is the card that says the job's okay. Yeah, you could do the job. You're bringing harmony to others people's chaos, but it's like you're just going through the motions of the job. It's not like you love it, or that it is the end all of things that you want. It's not that you want to stay at this place until you retire. All right. The card called courage reversed means that you expect things to be the hard way. And so you go in kind of like a bull with your horns lowered at any given thing, because you expect that the thing that you're aiming toward is going to be something difficult. So you're going to blast through it, and you have this amazing energy, and 8 times out of 10 you do blast through it. But I'd like you to start looking at the low-hanging fruit that is going to be presented to you, where you get this brilliant idea of, and it's funny because I get this Coca-Cola bottle animated with a balloon tied to the top of the glass Coca-Cola bottle, and that the little Coca-Cola bottle goes on little adventures. It's just, and I don't know why I'm getting that for you, but I am. It means that you're going to come up with some sort of simple thing like that. And I don't know if you're old enough to remember a film called The Red Balloon. Did you ever see that film when you were young?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's almost a throwback to that, in a way, that you might bring out endearing things and put them together with other popular things. I don't know, there's something about that, and you have the creative energy to do it. But the card that I love in your reading is this card called Trust. So this card is the whole reason I read with this deck of cards. There was one day I was at the store, I was going to buy another Rider-Waite deck. And I'm looking through this deck because the clerk says you might want to take a peek at this deck. So I'm looking through this card. I'm like, yeah, they're pretty. Yeah, whatever. I get to this card called Trust, and my whole body goes goosebumps. So I knew that this was the deck I was supposed to read with. Whenever I see this card in someone's spread of cards, it's a big leap of trust that you're going to land in a soft space if you take the big leap of trust. And there's somebody here that already likes you. So this could be somebody you worked with in the past, or somebody that already knows your energy and your mojo. And this person is just waiting for you to pick up the phone to call them. So I'm going to suggest that you make the big trusting phone call to this person that's waiting on the other end of that line to talk to you. Listen to me, line. Boy, am I aging myself. Because, phone lines used to be connected by cable. I'm just saying. But there's something on the other side of this that totally wants to talk to you. And that when you start talking about your ideas, I can see you creating something and saying, this is an example of what I want to do moving forward. What are your thoughts? And let them feed you ideas, suggestions, or connections. Because if you were to ask me, am I going to change into something new? The power month for this is August. So I'm just saying, you have this beautiful opportunity about to be presented to you, and I want you to relax into it, and it won't be the hard way. It'll be the easy way. So, all right, JoEllen, thank you so much.
Thank
you.
you.
All right. They're cracking up over here about something. So, all right. Who would you like to have answer the question next?
Well, how about Kris?
All right, Kris. It's all about you, baby.
Okay.
Hi,
So,
Kris.
JoEllen. Okay. So, happy early birthday.
Hey, thanks.
So Pisces sun, and your rising sign is in a Sagittarius. So a Sagittarius, it's in the later degree, but your rising sign directs your entire chart, and then it also talks about who you are and the experiences that you experience through this lifetime. However, it's in the very late degree. So your first house of self is more so ruled by Capricorn. And so if you were to read like a Capricorn horoscope, then you're definitely going to resonate more so that with the predictions that would. So you could read Sagittarius too, but the Capricorn would probably align more so with what's going on in your life. But I wanted to touch on some things related specifically to your question. So in about 2023, you started this transformation that was ruling your third house of communication, and it also rules siblings too and in-laws, but this feels more so like communication, education. And then the other side of that is your belief system, like your faith, spirituality, a belief system. It also rules foreign travel. And so this, because of where your third house sits in your chart, so you started this transition about 2023, maybe Marchish, probably around there. It could have been any time during 2023 though, and it's going to continue till about 2027. And so the purpose of this is to it transform these areas of your life, and so they'll bring up events for you to evaluate and then probably make some big changes. What's so interesting about this time is there's two things that it connects to, these eclipses connect to in your natal chart. The first one is you have a stellium in your third house. A stellium is 3 or more placements in the same area of your chart, which lends a lot of energy there. The other aspect that you have is called a grand trine, and this is a beautiful formation. It's the most positive placement a person can have in their natal chart. So I mean, I don't see them very often. So this touches down in your third house of communication and education. I'm going to say that with this, you're probably really, really good at some type of communication. So maybe creative writing is what I'm getting from you. And you're also your wounded healers there too. So this tells me that this area of your life is being transformed right now. It's been the last couple of years, and it's going to continue. And the purpose of this is to bring healing to you, because there's a couple of placements here that talks about maybe early childhood or obtaining an education might have been a little bit of a struggle. And so through creative writing or journalism or connecting with people through communication, you can bring a lot of healing to yourself and to others. So have you ever thought of doing any kind of like creative writing or journalism or publication, I guess I would say?
I like to talk to people a lot. Do I write? No, I'm more of a visual communicator. I'm a graphic designer and a teacher. So it kind of comes like the communication is, honestly, I get hits with kids and I just know what to tell them. I know what they need to hear at the time.
Okay, that I love that you said that with the kids too, because this is a big part of, it's really closely tied to like kids or younger adults. And so through your through communication, you're able to heal people. And also there seems to be like maybe a talent there for even educating. So I don't know if you do some kind of like conferences or workshops or something where you're showing people how to do something, but you're really, really talented and very creative, because this big grand trine that you have, it is in all water, which is very imaginative, being very creative. being able to uh, how do I say, bring life to things or bring things to light that maybe are difficult to explain, or you're able to bring things tangible, make things tangible that are more kind of abstract or like emotion. So any kind of drawing, I love that too. Mona touched on the pictures. It's almost like this when you create these visual uh, things, you're able to heal people. Like people can connect with them and they resonate with them, and maybe there's not anything to do with writing specifically, but it's they connect with them and it's very healing for them. So, but I do feel like you would be really good at some type of, I don't, maybe not necessarily creative writing, but it's something with creative and like dispersing information. So you also, so these eclipses, you're going to be going through this for the next couple years. And so the way that you communicate, and then also with your work, you're probably going to have some pretty big transformations. So what you're doing for work right now, it's going to be very different in the next couple years. By the end of these these eclipses. And then also I wanted to touch on your 6th house of work, because that's again ruled by communication as well. So it looks like you're really, really good with connecting with people, and there's definitely that creative slant there.
A financially abundant creative slant.
Okay, so that's the other thing that's going to be transforming too, because not only we're in this 3rd house, the eclipses, we just started some eclipses back in September. It's the Virgo Pisces series of eclipses. And so there's going to be, I'm going to say probably within the next 2 weeks, there's going to be some kind of news or resolution or culmination to an event that is connected with your finances. And so I don't know, usually that's like if you're searching for something, that the search is ending. So if like you're searching for a new job or an increase in income or something, that search is coming to an end. So you're going to get some kind of news that it connected to finances within the next 2 weeks. However, over the course of the next 2 years, you're going to have numerous opportunities to increase your income or to add additional. Actually, this feels more kind of like entrepreneurial, like maybe having different sources of income or different creative things that you do that you could make money off of. But that would be, I mean, these opportunities are going to start coming within the next 6 months.
Yay.
Great.
All right, Tammie, take it away, girl.
All right, I'm going to just jump on the how are you? I'm
Hi.
grateful and blessed to be able to work with you. I'm going to jump on the money first. I normally wouldn't, but just because that's where it left off. It's important for you to change your mindset about money, because while you're focusing on wanting to make more, you're actually keeping yourself where you're at. We are always giving ourselves exactly what we want. And I know it sounds strange because you say, well, no, because I want more money, but you're focusing on not having. So you're giving yourself exactly what you're asking for. So even if you have that mindset, as soon as you hear it out of yourself or think it, change it.
Okay.
You know, maybe I don't have what I want in this moment, but the next moment's going to be different. It's going to be very important for you to start watching your thoughts, because you have a powerful flowing energy and a very creative energy, probably one of the most creative energies I've actually crossed paths with. And you know, when you're talking to kids, it just flows out of you. You're not thinking. You need to, well, you don't need to do anything. I suggest that you start doing that with your art. Stop thinking about it so much, because you're putting a block and you're second guessing yourself and you're not letting it flow like it needs to flow. And when you stop stopping yourself and you let it flow like you do with the kids, you're going to find it to be so much easier and so much more powerful. Because I agree with Kris, you're a very powerful healer in terms of art. And when we say art can be anything. What I do, I think, is very artistic, you know, and you have a powerful influence, especially on the kids. I can tell. I mean, I see it in your energy, and that's where your healing work actually is. And that's going to start to show more and more and more. But you have to get out of your own way for that to flow. And the other thing that's kind of coming to me is that you have your own past experiences that are similar to these kids. Don't hold yourself back from being open with that, because they're going to trust you and they're going to take what you're giving them in a more powerful way when they know that you've also been through some of the things that they've been through. So don't hold yourself back, because the greatest things about kids is they're not judging us, they're not criticizing us. And that's why those of us that like work with kids, it's so easy to do, because we can feel for them. We know what their experiences have been through, because they're similar to ours. But remember, in that healing capacity, that you personally were given all of those experiences through your life to be able to do this work.
Yeah.
So
It's like she's the grand catalyst.
yeah, I mean, this is your work. You're a healer, and your healing ability is not just healing, but moving people up in their awareness. And right now, the kids, they're coming in a very high aware state, because they know what their roles are. So you're actually going to help them not get caught up in what we've all been caught up on, is to like have to wake ourselves up. They're already awake. Now they have to stay awake and remember that each experience is just that. It's an experience. You experience it for the knowledge, the insight, and the wisdom, and then you let it go and move on. Don't pull it forward with yourself, because when you'll get in your own way by doing that. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
So am I always going to be, am I staying in teaching, or am I moving from that?
Well,
We're all teachers.
And you're looking at it in a small capacity opposed to what it is. You need that experience as a teacher, how you are now, to be able to teach on a bigger level with a more profound impact on the world. So when you say teacher, are you a teacher in a school?
In a classroom, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a stepping stone. That's giving you the experiences and the insight that you need to be able to connect with kids on a bigger teaching scale, not like teaching in a classroom. Does that so I was a school psychologist for 17 years, so I know the school system. But you know how there's some teachers, they're there to collect a paycheck and you wonder why they're there. And then there's teachers like you that have that passion. You're going to take that passion to a much more global level of it. And whether it's you start almost in the art, I get the animation piece that they're kind of talking about, because kind of what's coming is that you may find yourself developing programs to help kids that don't learn traditionally and are having a hard time, whether it's in learning disabilities or emotional issues. I can't say I could say confidently, but I'm being told not to. So that's what I can tell you, is that pay attention to while you're teaching in a school, because it's giving you a lot more than you're being aware of right now.
And I got to jump in and say something. I think the reason I got the whole big animation piece of it is that I think that Tammie gave me clarity on why I was getting that, is I wonder if you create an animated video that teaches people how to read. And that I know that is a huge thing for me to throw at you, but I almost wonder if you become your own version of Sesame Street in a way, that you're gearing toward the level of, say, 3 and 4 year olds, where they still have a chance. Sorry.
And when they're still nice.
Yeah.
And they don't talk back.
Yeah. Well, some of them do, but it depends on how they're raised. But anyway,
Yeah, I kind of get the sense that it's going to be more teaching emotionally based than teaching academically based. But
That's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
We all have to get along.
So I do know how to do animation. So is there a lot of training I need to do, or should I do self-training, or?
you and your sister could actually come together and do this, and you may find that as laying the foundation for that to happen moving forward.
What else you want to say, Kris?
That's what I.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to touch on finances. You just recently, and I mean very, very recently, like weeks, came out of a very difficult transit. It lasted for about 2.5, 3 years, and actually maybe a little longer than that. You're going to start feeling a lot of relief financially. And this transit, the purpose of it is to restructure our value system. So what we, the value we place on not only like financial resources, but our self-worth and other things that are of value to us. So the purpose of the transit is to transform those and to restructure them. The difficult part of that about that transit is it can make us feel like we don't have enough, even though by other people, if you told other people like what you have, and be like, oh my gosh, that's more than enough. But to you, it's almost kind of just like a mental thing where it feels like resources are limited, or I don't have enough, or I'm having to learn to do a budget for the first time in my life, or like restructuring a budget. So it can be difficult because it feels like financial resources typically are limited. But you're coming into this new transit, and this is very, very recently, like within the last couple weeks. And so the further you get into this new transit, you're gonna start feeling a lot of relief there, because also with that transit, investments are slow to come. So let's say you made some investments, and normally they're really good investments and you get good return. Well, during this transit that you just came out of, it could make it to where you just don't really get the return. And so think of anything that you would invest in, whether it's time, money, anything. It's like, it almost feels like you're not really getting that back. And so, anyways, you're coming out of that. So I did want to touch on that. And that's actually going to, the further it goes, so within the next 6 months, it's going to connect with that stellium that you have also in your third house too. So it looks like education and communication is really, really a big part of your existence, I would say. Especially you're coming into a very meaningful period, a meaningful time in your life.
So
I think-
go ahead. Sorry.
I think the thing about education is I've been doing it for so long, and I just have been wanting to move out of it into something that's, again, it's kind of my own development rather than the same thing over and over again,
Have you ever thought of doing any kind of art therapy for kids, or yeah, that's what it feels like some kind of like therapy as it relates to maybe this. I mean, if it was creative or artistic, it would be right up your alley.
You just have to have a license for that, and that's a lot of school.
Dang.
A lot of school.
You know what's so funny? I keep picking up your energy, and I keep picking up that when you walk into a room, you command the room. And there's something about that kind of power means that you get the attention of everybody in the room, and that you can tell them just about anything and they're going to listen to you. All right. You might want to add some structure to your speaking style by maybe doing, getting very good at public speaking, but getting very good at public speaking in that natural, funny way, because you have this ability to explain the truth to people, and it comes across funny, and they pay attention to it. It's and that's a blessing. But the biggest thing that I could not wait to tell you is that something Tammie said earlier about you got to change your mind about money. I'm going to give you something to say to yourself. Now, Tammie might come up with her own version of that, okay? Because, Tammie's brilliant at this. She's a clinical hypnotherapist. She's wonderful at getting people past their own stuff, all right? She's really good at that. But this particular little self prayer, and I'm going to say it like a prayer. So whatever do you pray to? I don't care if it's the universe or karma or Jesus or Mother Mary or the good Lord or spirit or love, just the word love. Let's use that word, right? Dear love, thank you for all the blessings in my life. I pray to be guided to peace, purpose, and prosperity. Thank you for your loving help. Amen. It doesn't matter who you say it to because it's universal. The intent is there. So when you find yourself worried or going into monkey mind, and the default worry that you go to is money. How do I make money? So when you go to that, dear love, thank you for all the blessings in my life. I pray to be guided to peace, purpose, and prosperity. Thank you for your loving help. Amen. Now, whenever I see 11:11 on the clock, I say that to myself. It's not 11:11 right now, but whenever I see it, I say that. And I'll say it for the entire minute. I will repeat that prayer for the entire minute. Whenever my mind goes into being unstill, I start saying that prayer. I repeat the prayer. And it's because something came across my radar years ago about the concept of perpetual prayer, right? So Tammie's absolutely right. When she says, when you're saying to yourself, I want more money, you're actually acknowledging the reality of I don't have money, right? So, but when you say, when your mind goes there and you say instead, I pray for peace, purpose, and prosperity, your spirit naturally agrees with that because you are praying for that. All right, Tammie, what are your thoughts with that?
I mean, whatever way she wants to do it and that resonates with her is perfect for me. But I do want you to write these names down, Adler and Christensen. And yep, start looking at their stuff because they're kind of like out of the box and nobody uses it, but it's very, very powerful and very useful.
Like
And
Adler from the Chicago school, Adler Psychology?
Well, it's Adler and Christensen. They kind of came together and did a lot of behavior management techniques that are silly because they catch people off of guard. And I don't know why that popped up for me because I still think that you're going to do something in terms of the emotionality. So that's, start researching their stuff.
Thanks.
All right, and JoEllen, if you could hang on after the program's over, because John Stiles needs to say something to you. So hang in there, don't hang up.
Okay.
In the meantime, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the program. We love that you're here. If you'd like to be a guest on Three, please go to www.THREE.Vegas. Go to How to Be on Three page and connect with us through that page. And we will get you on the next filming of this wonderful program, Three. I want to thank Tammie and Kris for being a part of this and being a part of a wonderful experience. We love all of our guests, and especially John Stiles with WWDBTV for allowing this to happen on his wonderful station on YouTube, WWDBTV. Please subscribe so that more programs like this can be a part of your reality. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
The cast members of Three are not professional attorneys, CPAs, psychologists, marriage counselors, physicians, or financial advisors. You are provided with opinions that are unique to each of the intuitive performers. Three is presented to you for your entertainment.